Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm introducing Fischer's Hornpipe for us to learn on our low and high D whistles. The tune goes by a wide variety of other names and has a variety of transcriptions. It is described as one of the most popular fiddle tunes in the world. And I know we're not playing the fiddle, but really that means it's a tune that we should know on our whistles. So we'll follow our usual format. The tune has an A part and a B part as a hornpipe. So I'll stand and walk us through each one phrase at a time without ornamentation or expression. I'll also then play the entire tune through in the play along with Scott section without ornamentation or expression, really so that together we could learn the flow and core of the tune. After that, I'll talk about any potential difficulties I think we'll experience. I'll share some ornamentation and expression ideas, and then we'll chat about the history of the tune, which is pretty interesting with this one, and as confusing as the names and the transcriptions. But anyway, that's fun. For our walkthrough today, I'm using my Carbony wide bore, close finger spacing low D. I'll put links in the notes to this video as to where you could pick one up if you haven't done so yet and you want to get one. Also, at the top of the notes to this video, I'm putting a link to the page on my website from which you could download the music and tabs if you would like to use them. Music and tabs are always free. Now, chat about the transcription that I'm sharing for just a moment. So this tune's like at least 220 some years old. And there are records of it going back almost that far. But there are so many transcriptions because it's so popular. However, when you listen to people play it, there is a consistent flow and feel to the tune. So I chose an early transcription that represented that consistent feel and flow, and then I modified it just a little bit to be more in line with what most people play today. So if you're in a situation where you're playing the tune with other people and they're playing it a little differently, don't be surprised. But you'll know the core of the tune and you'll be able to vary off of it as you need to play with somebody else. So that's helpful. Anyway, let me walk through the A part for us. Move my stool. All right, that is the A part. Now I'll walk us through the B part. Alrighty, that is the entire tune. Now, in the play along with Scott section, I'll play the whole tune, including repeats and without ornamentation and expression, except for some light tonguing to really differentiate and highlight that hornpipe rhythm. Alrighty, that's the whole tune. Now, I do think there may be some challenges in learning the tune because you've got the hornpipe rhythm you've got to get into, but you also have a few ascending and descending note jumps. For example, at the start. And that kind of continues through where you've got a few note jumps, and so it's not just straight note runs. So you've got to get used to that. Now, you're not really going too high, but you do have to hit that second octave A. And so you may need to work on some of the phrasings, to get those notes in. It's a faster hornpipe, so you probably want to really get the core down, and as you're learning your ornamentation and expression, really start adding in some pace as well. But otherwise, it's a reasonably straightforward tune. Now, thinking about ornamentation and expression, I will share a practice session in a few days. And it'll be at some point with my learning and experimenting with ornamenting and expressing the tune. And I will spend more time listening to how other people play it. And I would like you to do the same. See, one of my goals, and I'll share a couple ornamentation and expression ideas here in a minute, but one of my goals with ornamentation and expression is to help us each think and decide how we personally might want to ornament and express this tune. It's not about you play like me. It's about you decide how you want to play it, but you need to think through the options. So, like a couple ideas here. It's a hornpipe, so you want to accentuate that rhythm. So, do you want to? So. Don't do it on every sequence, but punch some of those. Like that held eighth note, and then, or punch that, or punch the bounce. You probably want to punch the dominant entry to those pairs. And then you can ornament with like a nice little cut tap, really light, quick roll, or something going up and down some of those runs. You get those 3 second octave Ds on the end of the A part. Remember, I don't necessarily like to do things exactly the same each time through, but you've got that. So you could do like all kinds of stuff. You could do different things there. And then you got the same opportunity at the end of the tune with the 3 first octave Ds. So accentuate the bounces, and then you even get that second octave A. You could like do a tap up to it. You could do a quick slide up to it, something to really punch that note. So think about those kind of things. Again, in a couple of days, I'll share a practice session. Let's think through the history of the tune. The history of the tune is clear and muddy simultaneously. We know for certain that it comes from later in the 18th century. And we know for certain it's an over a couple 100-year-old, consistently popular, primarily fiddle tune that we play on all kinds of other instruments as well. But there are stories about it having been composed in either England or Germany. The England version is that James A. Fishar, Fishar, published this hornpipe in 1778. He was a professional violinist and the ballet master at Covent Garden in London. And many folks by that tap James as the composer. Others say it was Johann Christian Fischer who composed the tune, and apparently Johann was a friend of Mozart's. That's pretty cool, but it's said that he may well have composed it, and there's some evidence that he might have composed it. There are stories that somebody else may have composed it. But what's fascinating is this tune, as soon as it hit the charts, it like soared to number one and became so popular that it was in everybody's tune collection. Fischer's Hornpipe, under this name and a variety of other names, appears in many collections before the start of the 19th century. And so that's amazing. It even appears in a collection found in New England in 1780. So it's just crazy, crazy popular. It spread rapidly. It gained popularity just as rapidly. It's even, I found a really great bluegrass version that Yo-Yo Ma played on. And that was, you know how much I like Yo-Yo Ma. And so that's really pretty cool. To confuse matters even further, this hornpipe is played as a reel quite often in the Shetland Islands of Scotland, and that tradition has spread as well. So you might hear it played. You'll often hear it played as a hornpipe. You might also hear it played as a reel or a hornpipe leaning tune played at a reel pace, which just confuses it even more. So anyway, all that to say, this has been for over 220 years over 240 years, a phenomenally popular tune that everybody loves. And so it's really important for us to know it. Again, if you know and love this tune, please write a comment in the comments to say, well, I like so-and-so's version, because that'll be a lot of fun. If you're brand new and checking us out because of this walkthrough, please subscribe. Join our phenomenal community of folks learning to whistle together. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.